Onya Sembiriba, Kino Ofori Atta, Ujina Bia,
Abati, yeah, or them. I want Jesus. Hey, you bought again. Or them, yeah. Or them, and the elbow. Yatas and papa, elbow.
Onya Asamna Ekasie, former minister, finance minister, King Ofori Atta, has been declared wanted. Wanted. OSP has declared Ofori Atta wanted. OSP has given reason what declare Ofori Atta wanted. Now Ofori Atta na command first has because already Mr. Quotation my Obama quotation is here. Never say and Ofori Atta why they declared wanted. Because I'm saying no. Other agencies under former president Akufo-Addo they are under investigation. Almost somewhere they eba. Me giri se mines gold soon se bombi. And some and eba no. Hoy Ofori Atta. Nanto was them because they know. Onua message also say na vi kana me video you be subscribe with your mommy. Obe click notification button ne so. Obe like video na be share video na me na drop for so. Hi, Office of the Special Prosecutor OSP me chire kusi hwan kusi ajabin. We declare King Ofori Atta wanted and as we declare King Ofori Atta fugitive. Na bro for pimo bro for the fugitive. We declare na say King Ofori Atta enam kwan bi so no ma bi wo ha ehia se komanga na oye anase wadi wayemra bi wo ha sikasem anase adwumasem ni bibi ya de afọ Ofori Atta insase na o ma declare say Ofori Atta we de o me yi ne ho no na e ka se obi e fugitive a che se obi a o dwane atentere ni anase obi a o dwane mbra o mo so ma Ofori Atta lete so Ofori Atta mra me ya no Ofori Atta da dan na kira ne kira Ofori Atta ntimi mai yen se mebre na mebenya nto boase sa kusi ajabi no wa ma ha Akufo-Addo peso na ona de sanyi nso betu je say me ma kraba for de ye de meti bia ngreso na me asaba no opa che ni say ai Akufo-Addo peso no one lawyers ni bebre no mo ma ne kwan ma ne yedei en prosecute o ma o mo yedei o mu ni mra kwan no so na so ma o mo de ensem na sika sema for mo nsase no de ma mpanya ha ma abresu die obi kwan to me say wow this car and at what use this car o mine sika na bibia ye ntia se bia na se oba na be yi wo ho ano na kusi buati ya na se bisi kusi jabin ono wa listed the reason why ntia what declare Ofori Atta wanted ye go hemra.
A few minutes ago I signed a directive declaring a high-profile person a fugitive from justice. This person is wanted by the OSP to answer charges in respect of several cases, including the following. 1. Contractual arrangements between Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited and the Ghana Revenue Authority for the stated objective of the enhancement of revenue assurance in the downstream petroleum sector, upstream petroleum production, and minerals and metals resources value chain. 2. Termination of a distribution, loss reduction and associated network improvement project contract between the Electricity Company of Ghana Limited and Beijing Xiaocheng Technology BXC. 3. Procurement of contractors and materials and activities and payments in respect of the National Cathedral project. 4. Activities and payments in respect of a contract awarded by the Ministry of Health, initially commenced by the Ministry for Special Development Initiatives to Service Ghana Auto Group Limited for purchases and after-sales service and maintenance of 307 Mercedes-Benz Sprinter 305 CDI ambulances for the National Ambulance Service. And 5. Payments out of and utilization of the tax refund account of Ghana Revenue Authority. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, the fugitive's name is Kenneth Nanaya Ofori Atta. Mr. Ofori Atta is 66 years old. He was the Minister of Finance of the Republic between 2017 and 2024. Mr. Ofori Atta left the jurisdiction on or around 2 January 2025. On 24 January 2025, the OSP communicated to Mr. Ofori Atta that the OSP considered him a suspect in respect of 4 of the cases described above. Mr. Ofori Atta was directed to attend in person the OSP on Monday, 10 February 2025 at 10 GMT for interview. By communication dated 31 January 2025, Mr. Ofori Atta instructed his lawyers to inform the OSP that he was out of the jurisdiction indefinitely on medical grounds, and that the firm will notify the OSP of his arrival in the country in aid of rescheduling his personal attendance at the OSP. Further, the firm offered its willingness to provide the OSP with any information the OSP may require to aid in the investigation until his arrival in the country. Then on 5 February 2025, the OSP responded to Mr. Ofori Atta, copied to his lawyers, that the OSP did not need or require notification from his lawyers of his arrival in the jurisdiction. The OSP acknowledged Mr. Ofori Atta's lawyers' gracious offer to provide the OSP with information in aid of the investigation. However, and this is important, the OSP insisted that Mr. Ofori Atta's personal attendance at the OSP was required. After all, the lawyers are not under investigation. I don't need lawyers to answer questions on your behalf when you are being investigated. The OSP declined Mr. Ofori Atta's request to be away from the jurisdiction indefinitely on medical grounds on his say-so. Consequently, the OSP directed Mr. Ofori Atta to indicate by close of business on Monday, 10 February 2025, a reasonable date of his return to the jurisdiction and attendance at the OSP. The OSP warned Mr. Ofori Atta that if he failed so to do, the OSP would take all necessary legal steps to secure his return to the jurisdiction and attendance at the OSP at our own choosing. Subsequently, by a communication dated 10 February 2025, that is just Monday, Mr. Ofori Atta's lawyers transmitted to the OSP a generic letter procured by Mr. Ofori Atta purporting to be from a doctor in a foreign jurisdiction, stating that Mr. Ofori Atta had been seen and evaluated, and that he was undergoing further testing and management and possible surgical intervention at an indicated future time. And further, that his medical condition necessitates that he will stay and follow up on his appointments. On account of this purported medical letter, Mr. Ofori Atta's lawyers prayed that the attendance in person of Mr. Ofori Atta at the OSP should be fixed, taking into account the medical report from his doctors. These occurrences and the OSP's intelligence, which will not be revealed at this time for fear of compromising the investigation, are very instructive as not to put premium on Mr. Ofori Atta's alleged imminent peril should he travel back to the jurisdiction. In any case, the purported medical letter transmitted through his lawyers to the OSP did not state so or demonstrate so. The OSP is unconvinced that the purported medical letter transmitted by Mr. Ofori Atta through his lawyers to the OSP represents a medical report to the effect that Mr. Ofori Atta is incapacitated or is so sickly and invalid to the extent that he is physically unable to return to the jurisdiction without imperiling his life. No serious law enforcement agency, and certainly not the OSP, will be convinced that the purported medical letter stops it from demanding the physical appearance of Mr. Ofori Atta before it in the described circumstances. We are of the firm conviction here that this is only a ruse employed by Mr. Ofori Atta in aid of his intention to avoid returning to the jurisdiction and to personally answer questions in respect of the investigations. We are convinced that the real intention of Mr. Ofori Atta is what was communicated to the OSP in the very first letter transmitted by his lawyers on 31 January 2025. That is, he has left the jurisdiction indefinitely. That was what was communicated to us at the first instance, and that is his intention. He has no intention of willingly returning to the jurisdiction. That much is clear to us. Consequently, ladies and gentlemen of the media, the OSP declares Kenneth Nanaya Ofori Atta a wanted person. He is a fugitive from justice. The OSP will take all necessary legal steps to secure his return to the jurisdiction and attendance at the OSP, and this is to Mr. Ofori Atta. You have two choices. You can either return to the jurisdiction voluntarily, or the OSP will enforce your return.
Yes, Sempanyo. Make sure, sir, that's what you enforce any force with beer, say, Ofori Atta be returning to the OSP. Abe yins and Simbiano. Now, brofun, we began to was here, brofun the mood. Brofun mood. Could you black? Chichibofun mom, and a brofun dear. Mood.
And someone 𝐘𝐎𝐒 special prosecutor. All Kenny and say, former finance minister Ken Ofori Atta, na Ayos or Taisa White no. Yes. Ebusia Omosharo. Na omba some questions be on Katasishe, Chrono, Drum, Kankai, Bonde, Oma some questions from Nina say. Wobakaya okuje to ablakwa or the betu just say. Aya Ken Ofori Atta, Wama Jankroma, Aya Kufaro Neba, last minute contract be, Wokai. A 34 million ambulance spare parts deal, you know. Our trench ye, Ebano National Cathedral and Saint Samswa, or second Ofori Atta, or man, some questions be ever home. Anyhow, 𝐒𝐔𝐘𝐒, almost no contract na DB Ebusia, Sikasembi, and also Ken Ofori Atta, or man, some questions be ever home. Just say 5 major corruption related activities, Nebusia, Martin South African Ofori Atta ever home. Now, OSP, Chema, or say, also letter the come Ken Ofori Atta say ombranen your man answer questions no. Ken Ofori Atta and the lawyers etro the man on OSP say Ken Ofori Atta or abrochi memu just say Ken Ofori Atta on ye na dwen say obaba Ghana bio. And on OSP or more sign tro letter the come or ye Ken Ofori Atta say ombra no more sign to na no still na no mu hia no. And Ken Ofori Atta lawyers sign tro letter the come OSP say Ken Ofori Atta ain ne ho fa no enu ti no etone dia omansa lawyers no available omo baba na no de omo abansa questions no ama Ken Ofori Atta ene OSP kirem se debi omo hia Ken Ofori Atta ono ankasa eho ene ebusua Ken Ofori Atta ne lawyers omo san sure dem a OSP say ai Ken Ofori Atta ade ntia Ken Ofori Atta omba Ghana sesia no ene ne say Ken Ofori Atta ne ho fa no na Ken Ofori Atta kra no doctors age mu a enche omo monitor the situation na even surgery kra na omo de be hihya so say omo de doctors report na de ina no this time omo de ma office of the special prosecutor eno na 𝐘𝐎𝐒 ochem say wo hwe Ken Ofori Atta the way a oye no nyoma na de ni nyina na omo OSP kwan bi omo nam so a Ken Ofori Atta obebepie mu Ghana na obebepie mu enu se Ken Ofori Atta ompeneto to empene no a that 5 corruption scandal cases na de ni na no Ken Ofori Atta omba answer those questions no anya sa Ken Ofori Atta owo 2 options either say ono ankasa baba Ghana na no de obe face these charges ana say omo OSP kwan bi omo nam so a Ken Ofori Atta fugitive wanted no obebepie mu e wo Ghana
what in chichibu no then beto just enura Ken Ofori Atta the fear work cantonment military men be about refugee ho dey akwa any section ko hwehwe no ma bebre mu ni fie ho na kusi ajabin OSP o chemu say that be omo de omo ko ho omo ntimi nya sa adwuma ni da because omo ko ho kra na omo so omo card che say dey omo ko ho ana so bibi ho a be che say omo special prosecutor no omo ba ho yenteti mo kan ye.
Mr. Ofori Atta, the OSP did not raid your house on Tuesday, 11 February 2025, or on any other day. Mr. Ofori Atta, the OSP did not cause any persons, however uniformed or bedecked, to raid your house on Tuesday, 11 February 2025, or on any other day. Mr. Ofori Atta, that could not have been the OSP, and that is not our style. If the OSP enters your premises, you will not be in doubt as to whether it was the OSP that had come there, and your lawyers will not have cause to do an inquiry ascertaining whether it was the OSP. We have our unique methods of conducting searches, and we have uniquely designed insignia identifying ourselves, and not just by a statement that we are from the OSP. This is one such main insignia. A person cannot just show up and say they are from the OSP. It's cheap. Anyone can say that. But when the OSP enters your premises, you will definitely know by our insignia, our methods, and the way we identify ourselves that this is the OSP. Our intelligence that the purported raid on Mr. Ofori Atta's residence was staged, or at best, an imposter action in an attempt to court disfavor for the OSP and to derail the investigation. You know us very well. The OSP is never deterred by such occurrences, and the investigations will continue as by law prescribed.
Hey, yo. Hey, yo. Hey, yeah, papa. Hey, yo, my Ghana. Na video footage be a PPM, and I say CCTV camera footage be a PPM or military forum copy or Ofori Atta the fee, no. Special prosecutor or case on the or money whom be beer no. I say my course be no made the money dear. Call few crown, I won't so mobile film show card, and I say, should be just a day, about fee. And then some of the pictures here, and I say, the CCTV camera footage appears or some military men, I'm copy more for latter fee or no. A been our own social media, who say, made check the way. There are so many military men that could pay more for as no more pot on quiet dear. Me said him. Na OSP the better just on the omuni musano manu bia e fast answers man e copy mu ho bia no na OSP actually mu say enya no nko other agencies under a manpanyi that Akufo-Addo ne personal. There are so many agencies be to say National Petroleum Authority Mustafa Hamid or ya ni mu o die ni mu no ye wo sika bia for mu sase na sika bia kodi ni wa Omani pa omunsa nyankaye atasika no ye de ko Ghana statistics ni mu a 1.3 billion Ghana cedis somebody Ghana cedis no 1.3 billion Ghana cedis we de ko statistics ma 10 trillion and I could this Mustafa Hamid in Sasia intimi pay my ya and I go for the person or ye wan yin some ko hwe and some ko je but I go for am am kwan Akufo-Addo lawyers ni mpanimfo bebre yere omo amam kwan inches ma special prosecutor kan.
The OSP has also commenced investigation into suspected corruption and corruption related offenses in respect of the operations of the Minerals Income Investment Fund MIF, especially regarding payments made in respect of Ejapa Royalties Limited, Small Scale Mining Incubation Program, Quarry Value Addition Program, Asante Gold Corporation, 𝐿 Ghana Limited, the lithium asset, that is Projected Lithium Focused Exploration and Development Corporation, Gold Asset 2, that is Enchi Gold Project, and all other investments by MIF, and funds expended on the chairman of the board of directors, the operational funds of MIF, purchase of parcel of land for intended office building, and all contracts and agreements entered into by MIF, and all publications, especially international publications by MIF. We are withholding the names of those under investigation for now, by targets 2 former officials and 2 serving officials of the fund. Third, the OSP has also commenced investigation into suspected corruption and corruption-related offenses in respect of an alleged embezzlement of 1.3 billion cedis from the Unified Petroleum Pricing Fund, UPPF, at the National Petroleum Authority, NPA. The investigation primarily targets the following persons: the coordinator of the UPPF, Mr. Jacob Amwa, NPA staff Frida Tando, NPA staff Wendy Ashon Newman, and the former chief executive of NPA, Mustafa Abdul Hamid. Lastly, it will be recalled that in the last quarter of 2023, the OSP and the Controller and Accountant General's Department jointly commenced corruption risk assessment and investigation into suspected corruption and corruption-related offenses in respect of government payroll administration. It is also recalled that the assessment and investigation are especially aimed at isolating and removing the names of non-existent, ineligible, and undeserving persons from government payroll, recovering wrongful payments and unearned salaries, prosecuting persons suspected to be culpable for any offenses, and the institution and implementation of internal controls in respect of payroll processing and payment of salaries. We further recall, as you do remember, that to facilitate the rollout of the investigation and assessment throughout the country, a pilot exercise was carried out in the northern region, covering educational institutions under Ghana Education Service and the Tamale Teaching Hospital, by a joint team comprising investigators, tracers, and assessors from the OSP and selected staff of the Payroll Processing Directorate of the Controller and Accountant General's Department between December 2023 and April 2024. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, I'm glad to announce to you that after thorough investigation, the OSP is now ready to commence the prosecution of persons suspected to have engaged in such conduct. So earlier today, I directed the Director of Prosecutions at the OSP to file criminal charges at the High Court in Tamale against the following 6 persons. 1. Yakubu Tahidu, a former teacher at Balogu MA Junior High School, Yendi, in the Northern Region. 2. Abdullahi Abubakari Sadiq, an integrated personnel payroll database coordinator of the Ghana Education Service in Yendi, Northern Region. 3. Sami Suk, a schools improvement support officer for the Yendi North Circuit, Northern Region. Mohammed Yusuf J, a one-time headmaster of the Balogu MA Junior High School, Yendi, Northern Region. Stafford Kolete Azude Barris, an assistant chief accounts technician at the Controller and Accountant General's Department, Accra, the Greater Accra Region. And Osman Isahaku, a one-time headmaster of Balogu MA Junior High School, Yendi, Northern Region. The main charges are corruption of a public officer and corruption by a public officer involving the manipulation and siphoning of funds designed as fictitious salaries from the government payroll. The identified persons would soon be arraigned before the High Court in Tamale. Thank you for